Hello there, welcome back to What the Flick. I am Christy, and that is Alonso, and that is Matt. So it's summer, so you have superhero movies, but for many, many years to come, you will have more superhero movies, perhaps in January and February and unheard of parts of the calendar.
Perhaps indefinitely.
Perhaps for the rest of our lives.
Well, so it's interesting, right? Because in order to get the good dates, you see this, it's almost an arms race where you're seeing the major studios, specifically Disney and Warner Brothers, but also Fox and also Universal, planning out release dates around their films to get the good dates, to get the big ones. And they've gone so far, kind of also juggling where, how long it takes a movie to get made and what the right rhythm is. And we just saw with Solo, like, oh, maybe you can release a movie too early, where the right placement is. So they've got movies scheduled out past 2022.
But what's hilarious though is that the idea of the right date means nothing.
Right.
I mean, before Black Panther, mid-February was not the right date for anything.
Unless
and
you
now,
were Cloverfield.
Exactly. And now suddenly it's like, oh, well, we got to get that Black Panther date. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
summer movie season doesn't matter at all anymore, like when it's happening way before Memorial Day or in the middle of
We're
April.
all making it up as we go
Yes,
along.
so the next one coming up on our calendars here is Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is a sequel to Ant-Man. It's coming out July 6th. It is Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, and their
It's apparently set about a
adventures.
week before Infinity War happens.
Is that when it is?
That's what I'm told, yeah.
All right.
Your sources tell
And
you.
it explains why we don't see Ant-Man and the Wasp in Infinity War, so that's what I'm hearing
Okay,
anyway.
fair enough.
Right.
Now, on October 5th, we're going to get Venom, which is a Spider-Man spin-off of sorts. Tom Hardy is starring as the title character. It's the symbiote that takes over, or kind of, you've seen the trailer. It's this scary alien thing.
That's right. Tom Hardy is playing a role previously played by Topher Grace.
Yeah, yeah.
Topher Grace goes to the gym and becomes Tom Hardy.
For the comic book fans, it looks like the movie is based on Planet of the Symbiotes and Lethal Protector, which is kind of the two of the iconic stories around Venom. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
And then in December 14th, we have a Spider-Man movie, but it's not a live action one. It's animated, Into the Spider-Verse.
Now, what is this based on?
So this is there was a Spider-Verse storyline that happened in the comics a couple years back where basically there's different versions of Spider-Man in all kinds of different universes. So there's a steampunk, there's like a film noir Spider-Man, there's one where it's actually like that version of Dr. Octopus is actually the Spider-Man. So it's umpteen versions of Spider-Man
Spider-Ham?
coming together. Spider-Ham shows up in that, yes. And then he gets in trouble. Like everybody looks at him for eating a ham sandwich. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm hungry."
Is it different from Spider Pig?
No,
That's in The Simpsons.
right. It is different.
Whatever a Spider Pig does.
But there is Peter Porker, the spectacular
Spectacular
Spider-Ham, who is a pig.
Yes.
Wow. And then we have Aquaman eventually, also in December. In the
boy.
middle of your award season, you get Jason Momoa plunging the deeps.
Which, okay, come on. Of all the people from Justice League that could get spun off into their own movie, is that the one we want?
Of all the fake movies in Entourage, is this the one we want?
Would we have rather had a Flash movie or a Cyborg movie? I don't know.
I'm excited about the next one. I'm a little nervous that it's a January release because I know that makes me look like we get a little bit cynical, like, oh, you don't release a big giant movie in January. But like you said,
Yeah, maybe now you do.
maybe now you do. So January 11th, Hellboy, directed by Neil Marshall. This is
Wow.
David Harbour taking over the role of Hellboy. We're getting a younger version than I think we saw in the previous movies. Which
So he's a
means-
Hellboy.
Hellboy, exactly.
Does that make Ron Perlman Hellman in retrospect?
Maybe, maybe.
His mayonnaise is great.
Ian McShane will be in that too, though, so that'll be solid.
We have Dark Phoenix. We've talked about here on the show several times. That is coming out with Sophie Turner as Jean Grey.
Right.
Once she
February
turns
14th.
evil,
Yeah.
she's got flaming hair. She cannot possibly be a good ex-person.
I would love it if they did the what-if version of the story that ends with Dark Phoenix consuming the universe, but I never get what I want.
Of all
Well,
of
that's the
these,
Deadpool movie I hope we get, is because there was a series of comics books that it was Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe, and he ends up taking everybody out, and then he jumps out of the comics and starts taking on the Marvel editing and writing staff.
Oh, funny.
Oh,
It's
how
bonkers.
meta. Okay.
Yeah.
So of all of these, what are you guys excited? It was also Captain Marvel coming out.
Right,
with Brie-
Captain
with
Marvel's
Brie
coming out
Larson.
on the 8th.
As in March 8th.
Shazam,
Actually-
April 5th.
Yes.
I'm like, they've got movies.
Every month.
Right.
Stacked
I'm looking
up like
forward to
cordwood.
Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which is not on this list.
Well, that's
Yeah.
this summer.
That's this summer.
Right.
July.
But does that not count as a superhero movie?
I don't see
Because
why
they're-
it wouldn't.
Well, it's not a new
They
we
are
don't have the new
Titans.
poster, but that'll be, I think,
That'll be cute.
that could be fun.
Yeah,
You know,
I
that
think
show is fun.
Nick likes the show.
I think that would be a hoot.
So with Captain Marvel, the choice of Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck to direct it is kind of interesting because they did like Half Nelson. Like
Yeah,
they're
and
known for
Sugar,
Sugar, which is
yeah.
about Latin baseball
Baseball.
players.
Right,
rather.
we're getting a lot of Sam
And-
Jackson in that movie.
Yes.
It's
Right.
the rumor
It's
right
set
now
in the
is it's set
90s,
in the
right?
90s.
Yeah.
We are Clark Gregg from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
and the
'cause he'll
original
still be alive.
Avengers
Coulson
movies.
lives.
Right, Coulson lives.
Yes.
So, or had been still alive at that point.
Right.
Yes, but interesting. Like
No, I'm looking at that too. Sorry.
if they can bring an indie sensibility to the extravaganza of it all between these two directors and Brie Larson starring it, like that's all interesting to me.
Sure.
A rare superhero whose name is the title, right? Like, isn't Ant-Man and the Wasp is one and Captain Marvel is another, and there aren't a whole lot where, right?
Thor, Captain
no, but
America.
we're a woman. No, we're the woman.
Oh, the
We're
woman. Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
woman.
yes.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's
like
true.
a female superhero.
Thank you. You left that
That's
one out.
exciting to me.
That's a big thing.